Alright everyone, so we are taking the Supra out for a quick little POV drive, and I figured I would make a video kind of talking about my experience owning this car, having this car on the road for the last year. Right there, one of the things I don't like about it is reverse. This car absolutely hates going in reverse. There we go. That's just one of the things I will talk about. So, to start this off, overall, so far, with the past year, having this car on the road the past year has been amazing. I love pretty much everything about this car. There really is not much for me to complain about. It's overall a great car. Sorry if I'm kind of stopping when I talk, I'm just more focused on the road. But yeah, this car is a great car. It's super fun to drive. It may not be the fastest thing in the world, but first and second gear, it's pretty peppy and it's pretty fun. I'll insert a clip right here. I was at my grandparents' house and I figured I would try to launch it really hard, and it spun the tires all the way through first and chirped them in second. So this thing's pretty fun. That's what I like about it. It doesn't have to be super fast, but it's still really fun. This car accelerates pretty good. I'm not really going full on with it yet because it's not warmed up. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun driving this car around for the last year. It's been great. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to take it to very many events this year because, well, you all know why. This car, though, whenever I drive it around, it gets looks everywhere. Whenever I'm at like a gas station or something, people are always looking at it and asking me about it and stuff, which is really cool. That's why I like it, because it's a very unique car. It's something you don't see around. I've only seen like one or two of them near where I live. So it's definitely unique, which is what I really like about it. A couple things that have happened to it over the past year of having it on the road and everything. As you guys know, my AC blew out a couple months ago. That was partially our fault because we knew it was leaking oil and we were going to fix it, but we just never had time to. And eventually time caught up with the compressor and it eventually just blew up. So that was mostly our fault. The AC is working now. I'm not going to turn it on though, it's not super hot out today. But another thing with this car that I don't like is reverse. As I was talking about earlier, this car does not like going in reverse for some reason. It will go in reverse, and it does reverse pretty well, but sometimes getting it into gear, you have to pump the clutch a few times to get it to go in reverse, and it's kind of annoying, but it's not too bad. Because other than that, the car is super fun. Also, with the gear shifter, fifth gear is kind of weird too, because it goes first, second, third, fourth, and then fifth is like way out there. But it's not too big of a deal. It's not really anything that you can't get around. But yeah, this car drives super nice. It sounds really good. It accelerates. Like, this car has some of the nicest acceleration, like throttle response I've ever felt. Sure, I haven't driven like a ton of cars in my life, but this one has a very, very good throttle response from what I've felt. Like, you press on the gas in any gear that you're in and it does what it's told to do, and it's awesome. And the interior is just really cool too, because it has so many little things in it that most cars from this time period did not have. And it does really good on gas too. Like, I have driven pretty far distances before and it like sips gas. It hasn't used very much at all. I've only filled, sure, I don't drive it like super often, but I haven't had to fill the tank up very often either, especially when I'm driving on like a highway or something. This thing gets pretty good gas mileage on the highway and everything, and just in general, it does pretty good on gas. One thing that I have noticed is weird is when I start it up, sometimes the needle will be like a little bit lower than what the gas level's actually at, and then once I drive it for a little bit, then it goes up to what it's supposed to be. Other than that, this thing's like great on gas, and it does really good with all of that. I'm not sure what the needle thing is with it, but it's not really a big deal. We'll go and take it up here on a road that's got a couple tight turns on it. It does have really smooth gear shifts too. Sometimes it's a little clunky, but that's just because it's a stock shifter and all that. and it's something that I can easily fix if I upgrade it to a short shifter. I don't know why there's leaves in the middle of the road. What happened there? Okay, so I'll show you guys right now the thing with 5th gear. So there's 4th, and then you put it into 5th. It's like way over there. All around though, with reliability and stuff, so far this car has been great. Like I said, the only problem we've really had is the AC, but other than that, this thing's been running really smoothly so far. After the whole restoration and everything, all the components and everything inside the car have been working as properly. And yeah, I'm just all around super happy with how this car has turned out and where it's at today. It is at a completely different place than it used to be at, and I'm just very happy with it. It handles really good. A lot of people say the handling on these things isn't that great, but although that's the thing with this car is it does have lowering springs, so that is part of why it does handle pretty well. But yeah, it goes around the turns nicely. It does a really good job sticking to the ground. Back when we were doing the restoration part on this car, one of the downsides was trying to find certain parts. This car definitely has parts that are easier to find than others. All the engine parts and all that are very easy to find, and then you get down to some of the other stuff like trim and all that, and that stuff is not very easy to find. Like the whole outside trim of this car, it's not easy stuff to find. Same with the rockers, we had to get those custom made. But if you're able to make them, or you're able to come up with some solution, it's still really cool. And sometimes the custom stuff, it makes it even more unique and cooler. But yeah, I love driving this car, especially on a nice day like today. I am probably going to be missing a lot in this video, stuff that people want to know, so I apologize for that. Always ask down below in the comments, and I can try to answer you with the best answer I can possibly give. But for 8 months and the amount of time that we put into it, it's definitely been worth it. And I am excited for many more years to come owning and driving this car. It is such this is by far one of my biggest accomplishments, is just being able to have this and drive it. I do like to beat on it sometimes, but it always handles it well, and I always try to be nice to it as much as I can too, just to make sure everything on this car stays good, and so I don't break too much on it. But I do like to have fun too. But yeah, for an 80s car, not bad at all. It's really freaking awesome. It's super fun. If anyone's watching this video and is looking into getting one of these cars, I would say if it's in good shape and doesn't have a lot of rust, because one thing with these cars is they do rust a lot. If it's got minimal rust on it and you're definitely looking into getting one, it's something you definitely should get, because these cars are super fun. And there's not very many of them out there that are like super nice either. I've seen a few really cool ones on Instagram, and I'm hoping at some point soon to get to meet up with some more Supras again. The looks that this car has too, it's very, very unique, and it doesn't look like any of the other Supras either, which is something I really like too. It just looks so cool. A lot of very unique lines and a whole bunch of other stuff. I just love it. The engine is just very smooth, so is the transmission. Sometimes when you're shifting it's a little but overall it's not bad. Yeah, it accelerates really good though. They say the 0 to 60 is somewhere on around 9 seconds for these cars. I highly doubt that. I think I actually just got to 60 right there. I believe that's for the automatics. I don't have experience driving an automatic version of this car. I do think that it is slower, I would have to guess, because it is an older style automatic transmission. So The manual option in this car definitely makes it really fun. You can really have full control over that 160 horsepower. It's not a lot, but it's definitely enough to have fun with. And being that this car is a kind of light car, I think they weigh around 2,800 pounds, something like that. You can definitely have fun with 160 horsepower. Although more is always fun too, which is why someday I would love to engine swap this, but that'll be for another day in the future, probably after I make a drift car, which is what I really want to do for a project in the future, because I've always been into drifting and I just really like it. I have drifted this car in the field before, and it does good. It does good drifting, but definitely not an ideal car to take drifting in a grass field. It handled the abuse pretty well. Power windows work really well. Like, look at this. Use them all the time. The one thing that hasn't worked great are the power mirrors. They've always had a little bit, they weren't great, but it's something we're still working on messing with, but they're good enough for now. And I know this probably isn't the best video because it's not super detailed, because it's not very structured. I don't make scripts for videos and stuff like this, but I just kind of wanted to say my say on what it's been like having this car for the last year on the road, and how it's been, how it's done. It's driven through rain. I actually drove it through rain not that long ago, and I was worried because I had just cleaned it the same day, and after driving it through the rain, it was like spotless. It was still clean. I can't say that's gonna happen with your car, but I was like, wow, it's pretty cool. I think it's because all the water, it wasn't raining super hard, so it all dried off. But yeah, the wipers work really good. Haven't had any problems with those yet. I haven't used cruise control in this car yet. It has it. My dad has used it before, and he says it does work. So that is something I may have to try here in the future. I'm not really, I'll have him show me how to use it because I haven't really messed with it yet. But yeah, overall, if you're looking into getting a car like this, they are great cars. They do have their flaws. They're not perfect, but a lot of the stuff wrong with them is stuff that's not super hard to deal with, especially if you're good with fixing things and stuff like that. And some of it's not even that. Some of it's just little things that can be kind of annoying, but it's also a 37-year-old car, so you kind of gotta give it some points on the fact that it does do really well for what it is. And I have heard some of the stock ones don't handle as good because they do have kind of like monster truck suspension, as they've called it, or monster truck ride height, because the stock versions of these, the ride height is pretty high up. That's why this car is lowering springs. I didn't put the lowering springs in this. They were in it when I bought the car. I would imagine they have definitely significantly improved the handling. This car does handle very well. But overall, not bad car at all. I absolutely love this thing. I'm looking forward to years more of driving this thing and getting to take it places. It's always fun. It's a smile maker. People always enjoy riding in it, even though it's not super fast. And I always have people talk about how it's kind of like a time warp and how cool it is. It's kind of like its own time machine in a way, even though it's not, but it kind of takes you back with the freaking equalizer and all that cool stuff. So yeah, I guess to wrap this video up, this car, it's all around great, super fun. Always enjoy having this thing around. Sorry if this video isn't the best, but I'm trying. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. To support the channel, please comment, like, and subscribe. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you guys next week. Bye everyone.